Okay guys, since we've created a table which will store all the likes for every single post by every single user, now we need to create some type of communication which will insert the data into this table. Okay, we're now going to our NetBeans development environment, and directly we're going to access.php class, and we're scrolling right at the bottom right before the last closure. We will write a new protocol function which will be responsible for inserting the data. Okay, so this will be a function. This will be function, and we will name it insert like. And as you see, the values which we need to pass is post ID and user ID. So here we write post ID, comma, user ID. And we open the curly brackets, and here we will write now the code. This function is inserting like into the database. Inserting, we can say, like information into the database. Very good. So as you know, first we start with the SQL command to be sent to the database. Okay, so the SQL command will be super simple. We write $sample SQL equals quotation marks, and we write insert into likes. This is the name of our table. Then we write set the values which we want to set. Post ID, this is the name of the column, like here, equals question mark, then comma, user underscore ID equals question mark. This user ID, this is the name of the column, and semicolon right at that. Now we want to prepare SQL command for execution. Okay, so we write statement equals this connection, we refer to connection, prepare SQL command for the execution. We are accessing the connection and preparing SQL command for the execution and assigning the result to the variable which is a statement. Okay, so after that, we want to check is there any error in this preparation or not. So we write if, and then in the round brackets we write exclamation mark, which means false. If statement is false, means if statement does not exist or something went wrong, then throw new exception. Then in the round brackets we refer to the statement which stores the result of the execution, and we are accessing the value error. Very good. Here we are checking is statement having any errors. Very good. Then after that, if there are no errors, we want to assign here parameters instead of the question mark. Okay, replace question mark with the valid parameters or values, we can say. So we write a statement, then error, bind param, string, we put here question mark, and both of these values we can make it integer. Both of them will be integer and integer. Here, the first integer we will write post ID, then comma, then the second integer will be replaced by user underscore ID. And don't forget to put exclamation mark. So after that, we need to execute the statement. Okay, we write statement, then execute, and then what I want to do is and store the result of execution in the new variable, which will be result. Result equals statement execute. So it means a result will store that result of the execution. And finally, we want to return result value, like this. Very good. So here, don't forget to put semicolon as well. Okay, so that is how we wrote the simple protocol, which will insert the like. Let's say we have liked one post, then we clicked one more time and we unliked the post. For that purpose, we will have to write a delete SQL command. And let's try to find a delete SQL command in the internet. So we'll write SQL delete. And we can write here PHP. So when you open any of the resources here, it shows you how we can use it. So delete from likes where, let's say, post ID equals to that value. This is how it can work. Okay, let's go and write the delete now. So the logic is almost the same. What we will do is we will copy the function which we wrote just right now, and here we will insert this function, and I will rename it to delete like. Okay, the first change is delete like, and we wanna do everything, we wanna keep the same. We need a post ID. Let's say delete the like which Mr. Michael liked, made like for the post, let's say having the ID 123. So this is how does it work. If you remember our SQL command, that is the one, it's delete from the table name, like, here we'll write delete from likes, where, then we write the logic, where post ID equals to some value, and probably we'll have to write and user ID equals to certain value. Okay, so we'll write where post ID equals question mark and user ID equals question mark. Okay, so this is the SQL command, and everything here we are keeping the same. So it is exactly the same function. One is inserting the value, another one is deleting the value from the database. Okay, that is excellent. What we will do is we'll now create a dedicated file for the like. So we right click on the project folder, new PHP file, and we write here like.php. So that is the one, and let's write here the comment. This file is responsible for liking and unliking, which means inserting like into database and deleting like from the database. Okay, so as you remember guys, the step number one is to receive values passed to current file. Okay, so as you remember, we are doing it using the if statement. So we write if request, etc, etc, etc. You remember this. Okay, so let's use the if statement. If round brackets, then curly brackets, and in the round brackets we write if empty, then again we're putting a round brackets, and in the second round brackets we write request. The first request which we want to make, we'll write in the square brackets, then in quotation marks, this is a post underscore ID. And then we're coming out from the first round brackets and we write or empty, then again opening and closing round brackets, and in the round brackets we are referring to $sample underscore request, then square brackets and quotation marks user underscore ID. Okay, and here what we are writing is if post ID or, which is like this, or user ID is empty, then we want to show some message. Here we'll write return opened. Here we write it will be a variable return open and close round brackets. then quotation marks, square brackets, I'm sorry, then quotation marks, status will be 400, semicolon, then return square brackets and quotation mark, message will be missing required information, semicolon, then we want to throw it back to the user, echo JSON encode return our array, and we want to return means do not execute it further. Okay, so this was the step number 1, and step number 2 is establish connection. Okay, so first of all we need to insert access, because access is responsible for communication with the server. Require, then round brackets, then quotation marks, we write secure write slash access.php. Then we're creating new variable which will store the entire class, which is access.php. Access equals to new access. This is a construction of the class. Host will be local host. User will be root. Password will be a blank password. And name will be FB, which means Facebook. Okay, and now we will write access and we will connect. We'll execute the connect function. Very good. And here, by the way, here we forgot to use a secure method of receiving values passed to current file. So it's to avoid SQL injections. So here I create a new variable which is a post underscore ID will be equals to HTML entities, and here we are accessing received value request and square brackets quotation mark post ID and closing the round brackets and semicolon. The same we're doing for the user ID. I create a new variable user ID equals to HTML entities. Then we're accessing received value, which is $symbol underscore request square brackets and quotation mark user underscore ID and semicolon right at the end. Okay. Here it says a syntax error, yeah, because here I forgot to put a semicolon. Okay, so step 3, insert or delete like. Okay, how we will do this? We'll do it based on the type of the value, type of the action required. Okay, so here we can write if, then in the round brackets we refer to the received information, request square brackets and quotation mark. Here we will write type, then equals to insert open and close curly brackets. Okay, this will be for inserting, else this will be for deleting. So this is how it's gonna work. Okay, so we will now run the function which is responsible for inserting like. Okay, so we'll write here $symbol access, then we refer to the function which is insert like. Post ID is the post ID which we received, user ID is the user ID which we received as well, and semicolon at the end. Okay, and here we will create a new variable which will be result, or yeah, we can write here like if you want, or result, and here we'll write if round brackets then curly brackets. In the round brackets we'll write result, means execution was successful, and then we want to return here status 200, and then we want to return message like has been registered successfully. Like has been registered successfully. Very good. Else we will write here status will be 400 could not register like. Okay. And for delete like, we will do the same. Let me write your comments for you. Run protocol that inserts like. Run protocol from access.php that inserts like. Liked successfully. Could not insert like in the database. Okay, here we will run the function which is delete like. As a post ID, we refer the post ID which we have received. As the user ID, we refer to the user ID which we received, and we created a variable that accesses user ID which received in this file. Okay. And we want to assign the result of the execution to the new variable, which is result equals to that one. Okay. And here we write if, open and close round brackets, and then open curly brackets. Here if result means everything is successfully. And I'll write here, in this I'll write a return message, return square brackets, then status equals to 200 and semicolon at the end. And we'll write now the message return square brackets, then in the quotation marks, and then message equals to quotation mark, then like has been removed successfully, and semicolon at the end. Then we'll write the else statement, means it failed to remove the like, and we want to return the message return square brackets quotation marks, then status equals to 400 and a semicolon at the end. Then we'll write a message return square brackets quotation marks, then message equals to quotation marks, then could not remove like and semicolon at the end. Okay, this function runs protocol from access.php that removes or deletes like. Here deleted successfully, and here we'll write could not delete like. Okay, so this is the if logic which we're using if we want to, because this protocol will execute two type of function. One will be type insert, another one will be something else, delete. Okay, so after we have inserted the like, and here we have done with everything, and the last step, step 4, will be close connection. And here, first of all, we want to echo this JSON, echo JSON underscore encode return array, and we want to stop the connection. And here we write access $symbol access, then arrow disconnect, and semicolon at the end. Okay, very good. Now we are going to the browser. So first I need to check the posts. We have got the post posted by the user ID 1, means the user who is having the ID 1. It is Michael in my case. So I have a post posted by Michael, and I want it to be likened by the Joseph, which is having ID 22. Okay. So here we'll write localhost, then fb, then like.php. Missing record information. Then we put question mark. User ID equals 22, which is a Joseph, and post of Michael, which is that one. Post ID is 0, and post underscore ID equals to 0. Yeah, here actually it's because of the 0, because here it can't be 0, it will never be 0. So post ID, I would like it to change it to being 7, because this is manually what I have inserted, which it can never be a 0. And 0 for SQL, it means like nil, nothing. Here I'll write 7. Here we go. So like has been removed successfully. Okay. There is an error on the line 28, which will be a variable return, I'm sure. 28, yeah. It says that it is missing. Okay, we'll send the type insert. Type equals insert. Okay, then we have a 36. Yeah, it should be return, it shouldn't be result, guys, so be careful. And here we go, like has been registered successfully. We go to likes, and here we go, I have a like. Okay. So the post ID is 7. That is the post. Hello, another user's post. This is the text. And it has been likened by user ID 22, which is Joseph. Excellent. Let's now try type to write it delete. Like has been removed successfully. And we go to likes. And we have got nothing there inside. Very good. So it means that our protocol is working. How we do that, we just write this URL address, in my case with a post ID and a post. First of all, let's go to the users to explain the logic. I'll take a user, for example Joseph, and Joseph wants to like some of the post posted by Michael. He wants to put a like for the Michael's post. So Michael has ID 1. We're going to posts, and we have here user ID 1. This post belongs to Michael. So Joseph liked this post. Joseph is 22, and the post ID is 7. That is the one. So this is how it works, and we cast the type, which can be delete or insert. That is really amazing, guys. Actually, here it would be better to write action rather than type. If we try to type it one more time, undefined index type 28. Let's see what is 28. Action. Yeah, I didn't save my PHP file, that's why. Like has been registered successfully. And then let's delete it. Like has been removed successfully. So this is how it works, guys. So my congratulations. We've done with the protocol. Good job.